you guys were not. You were in. Actually, you were in our preseason.
I was in Portland as well.
I want to cover playoff hockey in Vancouver. I want the fans to enjoy and experience playoff hockey in Vancouver. I want the Canucks to win a Stanley Cup for this city. And looking at Raptors Twitter right now, a fade for Cade. I feel like a lot of them would love to see him there. I mean, I'm not advocating for that, but I mean, I know that's big on Raptors Twitter minds these days.
There's a lot of Twitter warriors out there.
LA gave one out to Jared Goff, and they've already moved on.
Correct.
They didn't think that could work for them.
It's all good. It's in it. It's in the box.
It's in the box.
Perfect.
For the Unnamed Sports Show, here's your host, Joshua Griffith.
Hello and welcome to the Unnamed Sports Show here on the Sports Talk Line Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. I am, of course, your host, Joshua Griffith, as the voice of Don Andrew so graciously informed you in the wonderful intro. Also, thank you to the Matinee for the music behind that. Make sure to check them out if you haven't. They're a great band, local Vancouver band. So today on the Unnamed Sports Show, I'm going to be joined by Steven VanOver. We're going to be talking NFL football. Week 2 just wrapped up on Monday night with the Green Bay Packers taking care of the Detroit Lions. So we're going to look over all of week 2. We're going to look ahead to week 3. We're going to play a little bit of fun games. We're going to ask Steven VanOver on some quarterbacks to buy on, some to sell on maybe, get his opinion on the NFL officiating, and just a whole bunch of other NFL talk. But of course, before we get to that, we have some housekeeping to take care of. So hit that like button down at the bottom. Subscribe to the Sports Talk Line YouTube channel if you haven't already. Make sure to leave me a comment. NFL seasons, like I said, we're in week 2. Week 3's coming up. Sorry, week 2's over. Week 3's coming up. So give me a comment. How's your favorite team doing? You're looking ahead to matchups for this week. And also, too, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Joshua Griffith 0. So without further ado, we have all of that taken care of. Let's get right to this interview with Steven VanOver, senior NFL writer for Sports Talk Line. So I am excited to welcome back to the show to chat some American football this week, senior NFL writer for Sports Talk Line, one of my bosses, Steven VanOver. Steven, welcome back to the show. How are you doing today?
It's a pleasure. Excited to be here. NFL Week 3 coming up, and it is wild.
So I messaged you a couple of weeks ago when the NFL got underway, right at the season opener. I asked you how your Christmas was going. So how has the first couple of weeks of football been for you?
Just as I said, wild. I mean, not what you would expect, other than good football, which the NFL, I got to say, they're doing a heck of a job of delivering in all of this COVID excitement. They're managing to put out a good product. Yeah. It's exciting and it is not predictable, which, hey, that's the Roselle thing, parity is what drives the NFL. It's what made it the most popular sport, because the same teams were not going to win every season. And wow, it's anybody's game this season.
No, I love it. You're absolutely right. And we'll go right into that parity of the league. So week 1, we have the New Orleans Saints blowing out the Packers. Everybody's up in arms. If you're, in Packers land, everybody's saying, oh, here comes an NFC championship if you're in the Saints. And then the next week, Carolina blows out the Saints 26-7. And on the inverse, Green Bay looked like the Packers again on Monday night against my boy Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions. Where do you want to start with that? You want to start with the Saints? Or you want to start with the Packers?
Well, let's start with it all. Just lump it together, because the Lions look like the Lions.
Yeah, we can agree on the Lions look like the Lions.
So let's just start what we agree on, all right? And Aaron Rodgers, you've got to agree with the man. He said it's a 17-week season. It's a marathon. Now, of course, the spotlight was on him because, he didn't practice during the offseason, et cetera, X, Y, Z. He's Aaron Rodgers, man. I mean, get over it. Did you see some of those throws? OMG.
That touchdown to Torgan was just unbelievable.
And, it's the same thing with down in New Orleans. It's Sean Payton. But he's got Winston at QB. So it's he doesn't have the guy that he's had for a lot of seasons. So he's going to have to find new and creative ways to make it happen. He's going to do it, but there's going to be bumps in the road. I love how you pointed out, and you're talking about the teams, because on social media, all they do is they talk about the QB. Like the QB is the only guy that has any effect on the game.
Well, sometimes I feel like they might as well even rename the teams the Green Bay Rodgers or the Seattle Russell Wilsons. Like you're absolutely right on that. I mean, you so much of the time the team's success is really lumped in with the QB and just the QB.
And they get too much credit when they win, i.e., Winston in week one with
five touchdowns, but did nothing. If you watch the game, he was a play manager.
Exactly. That is, truth. But it's all about the W. And then, of course, Aaron Rodgers in week one, the averse, as you pointed out, he's, people were saying, cut him, time to move on. We got the love, pun intended there. I should have done air quotes, my bad.
Oh.
And it's infuriating and not infuriating, but just massively confusing to me how people don't see that it's the team. I mean, Dan Marino would tell you, if you don't have a solid running game and a pretty good defense, you're not going to make the Super Bowl. He found out the hard way. Awesome QB, but it takes a team to make it. And, when you look at the beginning of the season, there was a top 10 QB list: Mahomes, Rodgers, Wilson. I'm cheating here. Brady, Allen, Jackson, Prescott, Murray, Herbert, Stafford. Just put them in a hat and jiggle them up, spit them out however you want. And then in week two, Rodgers and Allen, they're out. They're good. Cut them. They're fakes. And Winston's, coming in. And then in week three, it's all different. Mahomes is human. Jackson is a god. Derek Carr's on the list now. And in actuality, it's nothing like that, man. The guys you're not hearing about Jimmy Garoppolo. You're not hearing about Daniel Jones, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Jameis Winston. These were all top QBs, and you're not hearing about them because the teams they're on kind of suck. And when that's the case, you're going to suck. I mean, it makes no sense. And I think the perfect guy to look at here, you and I were talking about it in the green room, Sam Darnold with the Jets. Number 2 pick in the draft. Sam Darnold's going to turn this team around. Later, they end up trading to Carolina. They spend the number 2 pick in the draft. They got their guy. Jets right now at 0-2, Carolina at 2-0. It's not the QB, man. It's the team.
Yeah, it has so much to do with that. And I think you saw that with the success that the LA Rams were able to have with a QB like Jared Goff, which people obviously could see. Like I said earlier, he's my boy. Love you, Jared Goff. But there's some clear faults that he has as a quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
The team was able to get over his faults as a quarterback only to a certain extent. He wasn't able to win them that game in the Super Bowl.
Correct.
But a team still was able to get the Rams there. Yeah. Like you said, bringing in a QB like Stafford, he's always been a great QB. He's put up amazing numbers, but he wasn't able to make it because Detroit's never had a team.
I mean, technically, the only thing they have is a team in name only. I mean, it really is. It's a mess. Tony Romo used to catch all this flack saying, well, he's never taken this team to a Super Bowl. He never had a team to take to the Super Bowl until he got hurt that year. He actually had a shot that year.
Well, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys then. Let's talk about America's team because they flipped it around after a pretty impressive opening night performance against the Tampa Bay Bucks. I mean, that was
totally
surprised. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty surprised watching that game. Pulled out in a big 20-17 win against the Chargers, and one of the big stories was the defense and then the run game.
Yeah, and for 2 weeks in a row, the defense has been really good. It's been relying on turnovers, which is not a recipe that you could generally, rely on, but they seem to be making it work for them. I had predicted in week one that Cowboys were predicted to lose, but they were not going to make it easy and would have a shot at winning it late. That's exactly how it panned out. And I actually predict that to be the results of most of the games this season, unless they just run up against a really bad team. And that's because when your defense is not dominant and you're relying on your offense to win, your games are going to be decided in the fourth quarter.
And some games that were decided in the fourth quarter in week 2. A real fun one in Minnesota and Arizona, as Arizona was able to stay 2-0. They probably should be 1-1. Same with Minnesota. But we also had another kind of a gaffe in the Ravens and Chiefs game with the fumble late by Alaires. So which one of those games was kind of more? I mean, we can even throw the Titans Seahawks. Maybe it didn't end in the fourth quarter, it ended in overtime. But which one of those 3 games do you think was the most frustrating for the loser?
Oh, well, I'm glad you said the loser, because the real loser here is anybody that actually bets on a regular basis in the NFL. Okay, it doesn't pay. It is the parity league. You're going to have some good wins, but you're going to have some frustrating losses. And that's the way it is. That is the NFL. When you have teams that have talent on both sides and the rules are geared for the offense, so scoring is rampant. You need a defense that can get turnovers. And to me, a turnover in the NFL is a punt, an interception, a fumble. It doesn't matter. Your defense has to stop the other team from scoring. Field goals don't, that is a score. You need to have a defense that can stop the other team from scoring, give the ball back to your team. When you have that, then you've got a chance to win in today's NFL. And that's exactly what happened in every one of those games.
So, you mentioned today's NFL. What are your thoughts on today's NFL? Because it's definitely changed from the past. I mean, it's a passing league. And now this year we have some added rules that we have to look on. The taunting one's been kind of a focus point. We're seeing some interesting calls downfield. I don't know how you feel about that. The review in the Rams game, but I thought that one was not the Rams, sorry, the Seahawks game. I don't even like saying Seahawks, so I just say Rams instead. In the Seahawks game, but that was an interesting call there.
The whole review process, the game is never going to be 100% accurate. Need to get over it. There is not only human element of things that never get called. How do you review that? So the game itself is imperfect. I think the human element is part of the game. I think that replay is there to overturn egregious calls. They go, oh, come on, man. Everybody can see that. All right, yeah, then overturn it. Yeah, but as far as once it's ticky-tack and or 50-50, I don't think replay should be used to overturn it. It's like, hey, the play was gone. Let's go. There's 60 plus plays in a game for your offense, something like that, depending on how it's going. You've got room to win. All right. You're not supposed to leave it in the hands of the zebras, which is, a funny thing to say, hands and zebras, but whatever. And as far as the state of the game today, hey, back in the day, they had literally, not slave labor. That's an insult to slaves, but it was great for the fan, great for the owner, and horrible for the players. So was it an enjoyable thing to watch? Yeah, on a certain level, but it wasn't fair. So I wouldn't want to go back to that. The players need to be in a better economic situation, and they finally are getting there. They're not there. But, with that, you have teams are still the thing. Roselle made parity the focus. That's what makes it fun. Fantasy makes it fun for everybody, even if you're not a team guy. Now you got fantasy football, which is just fantastic. I love the state of the game. I like how they're trying to protect the players. I like how it's fast. I like more defense, but hey, I get it. Scoring, brings in fans.
Yeah. You got to get the fans in there. Plus, I grew up as a Rams fan in the Greatest Show on Turf days. So I'm all about the passing and the, pass it 4 downs, pass it, every single play. Because Marshall Faulk still gets his passes out there.
Hey, well, the great one made hockey great, not with defense. He did it with scoring.
That's true.
So, I mean, Again, I
touching on
love
my-
defense. I love defense.
Look at
But-
you
but
touching on my Canadian side.
I had to, man. You have to give homage to the great one.
I love it. I love it.
Greater-
You come on the show and you're like, oh, I got to throw out a little Canadian love.
Have
So
to, have to.
I'm joined here on the Unnamed Sports Show by Stephen VanOver, senior NFL writer for Sports Talkline. The premier matches have been fantastic so far. We got the 2-0 Panthers against the 1-1 Texans on the Thursday night game. And then we got two pretty good matchups with the Packers and 49ers on Sunday night, and finishing it off with the Eagles and Cowboys on Monday night. And don't just jump to the Cowboys and Eagles game right away.
darn. I was
Which
like-
one of the obviously I'm playing to you now. I'm playing to my guest. Which one of the three do you want to talk about? And let's start with the Cowboys and Eagles.
I'm going to have to disappoint you, my friend, because I think the most interesting game on that matchup is the Packers and the 49ers, because the 49ers are an old school team. They're getting it done with a combination of defense, game management, running game, etc. Whereas the Packers, man, they're getting it done with smoke and mirrors. I mean, it really is an Aaron Rodgers team. He makes everybody around him better. Of course, that's an insult to 4 touchdowns for
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, 4 touchdowns in a game he was dedicating to his father. Tip of the hat, a moment. It's I mean, Aaron Jones is a talent. So, I mean, when you say it's a Rodgers team, Aaron Rodgers isn't stupid. He'll let you say that, but I guarantee you, at the end of every game, he's going up to Jones and saying, "Hey, man, way to go, babe." Okay, he took and just flipped him the ball for 2, and he would take it for 30 and score. And that goes on Rodgers' stats as a 30-yard touchdown. Yeah, right. Okay. But no, it's going to be a fantastic game to watch. I want to see what kind of an effect the defense that the 49ers are able to field can have on a player like Aaron Rodgers, because, he's a Brady style player. He's a complete guy. He changes plays. He has a brain. He's not a game manager. This guy is a weapon. So, and he's much more talented physically than Brady.
Yeah.
So, and as he gets older, he's getting Brady's noggin up there. He's getting his library. And it's fun to watch him, evolve. He's not a well-liked guy. Okay, it's not a popularity contest. The guy's an awesome QB. You should fear him if you're playing defense against him. It's going to be a fun game to watch. Plus, I want to see what the 49ers do. Are they going to take a look forward? Are they going to take a look forward? When are they going to be putting their guy in there? I don't know. I mean, his first pass went for a touchdown.
They're working him in nicely. The thing that I'm kind of watching for the 49ers is if whoever they pick up off the street, I think they made a signing a little bit earlier. I didn't see who it was, but whoever they pick up off the street for their running back, if he's going to just continue to have success as all of their running backs seem to do, like, it doesn't matter. I feel like if they needed me, I could, strap on some of my old pads and get in there for them and get 5-6 yards of carry.
Seriously, if you're a running back, I'd tell my agent right now, if you're a free agent, I'd run over there, look, I will pay them. Just get me on their team.
Yes.
Because I'm going to have a hell of a season and sign a big contract next year. Okay.
Absolutely. So we got 7 2-0 teams, undefeated teams left in the NFL. We're going to have at least 6 after this next week, because a matchup that I'm really looking forward to is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady, against my Los Angeles Rams. And I would say Matthew Stafford, but it's more Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey.
100% Aaron Donald's team, but Aaron Donald's is Stafford's biggest fan.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's the biggest cheerleader on the Rams, I think, when Stafford's out there slinging.
And I think Stafford is such a wonderful fit. I went on my QB rant earlier, but hey, they are critical players. They are critical players. As obvious, Goff was not good enough to get them over the hump. Now they have the team. The Rams have the team. The only thing they don't have is draft picks, but they don't need those for some reason.
I don't think I can repeat what Les Snead's quote is on this show, but if you're a Rams fan, you already know what we're doing with them picks.
Oh, Something about a wild hog's rear. I'm
Something,
thinking, okay.
something about that.
Hollering Suey. Okay.
So go ahead.
But I love that game. I just love this game. I love this matchup. It's illegal and against everything. You know, when we're talking about parity, and then here you have the Buccaneers who managed to keep every starter from their Super Bowl team. That goes against what parity is about. That team is supposed to be destroyed. You're supposed to have a Super Bowl hangover. Somebody forgot to inform the Buccaneers. Brady is keeping them focused. He's staying hungry. Yeah. I don't know how that guy does it. He's got that Michael Jordan hunger. He's one competitive dude. And while every other QB goes up and down the value boards, this guy treads water in sharks and looks around and is like, what? Get out of my tub. He is incredible talent. He's got incredible talent around him, but so does Matthew Stafford. And I think the Rams are going to win this game. Boom.
I think I couldn't not pick the Rams in this game. So I'm also going to pick the Rams in this game. But I think it's just going to be another just fantastic NFL match. And we've just had so many so far in week 2. You know, you kind of alluded on to a little bit. I want to bring it back to QBs. I want to do a little bit of fun with you, a little segment. We're going to buy and we're going to sell on QBs right now.
All right.
Okay. So I want you to give me 2 QBs who you're buying on right now.
That's an easy one. Dak Prescott's at the top of the list.
Okay.
He's the real deal all the way. Buy. Consistency is his key. But much like when Tom Brady was with the Patriots do not care about your fantasy team. Okay. In week 1, they were up against a hell of a run defense. And so they let Prescott loose. In week 2, they were up against a crappy run defense. So they ran the ball a lot. And Prescott doesn't care which one you do, much like Troy Aikman in days of yore. And their running back doesn't care which one you do, much like days of yore. They are a versatile team. But another QB that I'm buying in on all the way, and it's a guy that nobody's really mentioning his name, and I don't know why. We just did, Matthew Stafford. Yeah, he's just getting warmed up. This team needs to throw the ball. He's going to put up epic numbers this year because their offense is geared towards passing. That's why.
McVay loves to pass, and Stafford is just really finding a rhythm with Cooper Kupp. He's looked good this year. So, okay. So we got Dak Prescott, and so as we keep on going down the NFL season, I'm going to hope to have Van on the show every once in a while to contribute, talk about the NFL. So we're going to make these little buy and sell segments a week, a regular thing when he joins me. So I'm going to keep track of that. So we're buying on Prescott and Stafford this week. Give me 2 quarterbacks to sell on.
Okay, and I'll even amend the buy and just say any LA quarterback buy on. Herbert's the real deal too.
Any
Herbert's
LA quarterback.
The real deal too. All right.
You know what? Actually, you know what? We can do that. We can go any LA quarterback. I like that.
So, all right, for selling, you know, I hate to do this to 2 really talented quarterbacks who are good quarterbacks and are going to have good careers in the NFL. Sell on Trevor Lawrence, sell on Zach Wilson. I'm talking about production, not talent. They're on 2 very poorly coached teams. Very poorly coached teams. This is not a referendum on the player. It's a referendum on the game.
And maybe too the organization as we
100%
as we have it 100%. As well. So beyond that matchup, was there anything else that really caught your eye in week 2?
Yes. Now that you mention it, and I'm going to have to give a shout out to the officiating. The officiating catches a lot of crap. Yeah, I do. I'm on board. And I'll get out those you make the calls and everything like that.
Yeah.
Overall, they get them right. They get them right. And even when they have one and people say, oh, that's why, the referees won this game for the Cowboys. The referees lost this game for the Cowboys. I think the only team that can say that the referees lost a game for them is The San Diego Chargers, because for I think about 18 years, that's what happened, at least 2 games every year. They had these horrible, I mean, a referee himself had to take out a full-page ad in the local San Diego page, apologizing for the call that quote unquote lost the team the game. Other than that, it just isn't there. The referees overall do a great job. And of course, I'm setting aside the year where we used replacement referees. That does not count. All right. Especially if you're a Green Bay fan. All right. But seriously, the refs do a nice job. And I saw a bunch of tight calls. I saw some calls people didn't agree with, but it's the rules. Do I like it when a player like Bosa gets called for laying on a QB? No, I think it's a crappy rule, but it was a good call.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, it makes sense. And then
the taunting rules. Did I like the calls? No. It was a good call according to the rules.
That's the rule. Yeah, that's the rule. And I mean, the NFL, they're NFL players. They know what the rules are.
Yeah.
You might not like the rule.
Do I like it when a QB gets a flag? When a defender accidentally touches his face guard or maybe gets an inch low when he hits him? No, I don't like it. But you know what? I like healthier players. It's a better game when you have the QBs in it instead of out of it. And it's part of the modern game. Again, I think the referees are doing a solid job. That ain't going to win me a popularity contest, but watch. They do a pretty good job.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for being on my show. I know it's going to win a popularity contest, you as a guest, so I'm excited to have you back all throughout the NFL season. Thank you very much. And is there anything that you're working on right now for Sports Talk Line? I know we're just getting our NFL coverage just ramped up underway right now.
Ramping up, and Sports Talk Line is getting ready to boost up its social media platform. The only social media platform is going to be coming up this month. I believe it's going to be the official kickoff. It's really exciting. And then on the channel here with you, we're also doing these mini lights instead of the full game highlights. We're focusing in on just a play or two, or maybe a subject. When I get off here, I'm going to start working on a mini light, going to be comparing the two-headed problem at running back that the Dallas Cowboys have. Do they have controversy at running back, or do they have weapons?
Beautiful. Love it. All right. So thank you very much, Stephen VanOver.
It's a pleasure. See you next time.
Cheers. All right. So that was an absolute blast to talk to Stephen VanOver this week about the NFL. Like I mentioned in the interview there, Stephen's going to be joining me kind of on a regular basis. We're going to be talking a lot more NFL. Kind of get you caught up with the week that was and give you a preview of the week ahead. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed that interview in the NFL chat. So like I said, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope you commented along. Let me know what you thought about how your favorite team's doing and just your thoughts on the NFL in general. So I have been your host, Joshua Griffith, here on the Unnamed Sports Show. Remember, love sports, all sports. Ready to go? I can edit all this stuff out. You ready to go? Yep. All right. So I am so excited to welcome back to the show. See, now I jinxed myself because I said I didn't need any editing and it was a one-hit wonder.
See, that's it. That's like, okay, look, I'd like to point out before you start, I'd like to tell everyone that this guy has not missed a kick in 42 consecutive tries. Okay, go ahead.
Minnesota, it's good. All right.